Hey friends, I'm Jeffy G. About a year ago I signed up for Loopcloud. At the time I examined all of the alternatives that were out there. Splice is popular, sounds.com, I looked at Output, Arcade, and I looked at some smaller players as well. But I determined Loopcloud was the best deal. So I'm reporting on how that's been after 1 year. It took me quite a while to accept I was going to pay a subscription for loops. Up until that point I had downloaded free loop libraries and come across quite an arsenal of loops and samples. In fact, my free library was approaching 500 gigabytes in size. And I was debating, do I really need a subscription? But there's a lot more to the Loopcloud subscription than just access to loops.
Well, I like Loopcloud. I like it better than Splice. But there's something going on here that I'm going to highlight, which goes beyond just accessing the 4 million samples and loops that are in the Loopcloud library. Because they're affiliated with some other companies, there's some really nice perks. So what you're seeing, this is the Loopcloud client that I'm shaking around here. And you can open that up standalone or inside your DAW. And it's going to allow you to browse your sounds, search for new sounds based on all these categories, and just generally explore. I'm going to go over the features of that browser tool, but I want to point out something kind of interesting. So, like I say, there's the app, and then there's things that you'll do on the Loopcloud website. So you can see here, I'm actually on the website. One of the things I like is that they keep offering free plugins. So I go to my account, and look here, it says, claim your free copy of Quadravox. And then I'm going to go click here. It opens up Plugin Boutique, and I can add this Quadravox harmonizer into my cart. And that code they gave me is going to give it to me for free. But there's always perks along the way. I got to tell you, it always surprises me. So I click on my cart, and you'll see it has a price here of $29. But as soon as I put in this coupon code, it's going to switch to free. Well, I like this. Choose your free gift. Almost every time I buy something from Plugin Boutique, there's a free gift. This one is Dirty Tape by SoftTube, which is a saturation program, normally $59. Then I'm going to go to the secure checkout. Here we go. Do you have a coupon code? Boom. Price is now $0. How do you like that? So I'm getting 2 plugins for free. The regular price on that plugin, Quadravox, is $99. It was on sale for $29, but with that coupon code, I get it for nothing. You can print the invoice. There it is. Newly added. Quadravox. It's got a serial number, key code. You can download it. And if you scroll through all the stuff in my account, you'll see there's just quite a legacy of free stuff that I've gotten over the years. Here's an example. This Exoverb came as, again, a kind of a gift. Now, if you're not familiar with Plugin Boutique, it's worth getting an account and just browsing around. There's this great category called free. Some great stuff here. Classics that everybody has. The Ample Guitar M-Lite 2, just a wonderful sounding acoustic guitar. And the Ample Bass P Lite. Just 2 great sampled instruments. Okay, so what is going on here? With Loopcloud, there are plans. So you have to sign up for Loopcloud to get all the free stuff that they offer every month. And there's a couple different plans. These are in Canadian dollars. But these plans regularly go on sale for anywhere from 50 to 80% off. So you're going to pay about $40 for a year. And for that, you can download quite an extensive list of samples. You get 50 gigabytes of cloud storage. You can use that for anything, but particularly handy for storing loops and samples. And you've got a daily limit of free sounds. So this free thing is pretty cool. Let me show you how that works. With these settings on loop and play, every time I click on a sample, it's going to play it. One of the first things that drew me to Loopcloud was the fact that you can edit and orchestrate your loops all on the cloud. Here I've selected a loop. It's just a guitar loop. And if I click on this edit button down at the bottom here, I've actually got an 8-track recorder. The first thing is that guitar on the first track. You see I've got mute and solo. I've got a volume I can set, and this is the actual loop. And I can do all kinds of stuff with that loop. I can adjust the pitch, the key that it's in. I can lock it to a certain key, change the tempo. There's all kinds of features in here, and there's even effects that I could add. So I click on Edit. I can add an effect. So let's say I want to add, let's play that again. So there I've added a delay, and I can control the time of the delay and all the parameters, amount of feedback, wet versus dry signal. But I didn't download this. This is all just included. So let's add something else. What's this? I don't know. Stop reverse? Never heard that before. What does that do? Oh, so that's kind of a cool effect. It takes the sample, slows it down, and speeds back up again. And let's just go back to the idea of adding more tracks. So here's an empty track. I want some drums to go along with this. So instead of this, I'm going to search for a drum beat. But that'll do. So now what I've got is two tracks. I've got my guitar track and I've got a drum track. Let's add yet another track and let's look for a bass sound. Now that's a great sounding bass, but it's in a different key. So I go back, look at my guitar track. See, it says that's in D minor. So I would have to change that to A. Pretty cool. So the point is, you've got an 8-track DAW basically here on the web with all these capabilities. And this is all being done on the cloud before I've committed to buying any of these samples. And I don't have to make that buy decision until I've previewed and listened to everything that I might want. Now, let's just go back and take a look at that pack again. A lot of these packs have something for free. So just by typing in the word free, I've got a bunch of sounds here, and you'll see this little flag next to them that indicates that they are free. So if I like one of those and I listen to it, so let's say I want that bass sound. If I go to add to my collection, I can download it as a favorite or just save it into my library, but it's not going to cost me anything. But there is a limit to how many free samples you can get in a given month. So you'll see here, free sounds. I can download 25 free sounds per day with this studio level membership. So that's a lot. I mean, you can basically accumulate samples from different packs that you like every day, 25 of them, and download them for free and not be using up any of your points credit. And you can store that library locally on your hard drive, or you can store all of your samples and libraries in the storage space that they're giving you on the cloud. Remember, you've got 50 gigabytes of storage, and that's quite a bit. In fact, in my case, I've not only stored samples from Loopcloud, but then it dawned on me, well, I could be storing all kinds of stuff there, and that's exactly what I did. So I actually upload a bunch of non-Loopcloud samples into that storage area. So here I've got Big Fish audio, and I've got some samples that I've made available. It's just convenient that they're all sitting there on the cloud.
Even the use of loops and samples in your music is genre dependent. And I'm not doing hip hop or EDM per se, but I do use a lot of different sounds that come from loops and samples in my music. And I think that's common to all producers these days. And remember, you can turn almost any loop into a sampled instrument. And even just for drums, the access to so many different drum sounds is extraordinary these days. Pretty much everything that you could sample has been sampled.
In addition to the library, you get two instruments, Loopcloud DRUM and Loopcloud Play. Recently, they've increased the number of included sounds in the drum tool. Now you have access to add any samples from the sample library into the drum machine, which is pretty cool. Does drum cost anything extra? No. It's included with your Loopcloud subscription. This is what it looks like. A 4x4 grid where you can load any samples into that grid. You've got all these controls at the bottom for panning and envelope and tuning and filters that you can apply. And then down here, you've got a sequencer. You can have up to 8 different patterns, and you can drag either the audio or the MIDI from Loopcloud into your DAW, dragging it up there like so. So, okay, I want it right there. The number of preset kits is quite extensive. You can see when you load a preset, you're getting the pad sounds, but you've also got patterns. Load another kit. There is a kit generation tool, and this is the area where you'd go out and drag your samples into the kit and place them where you want. There are features to automatically generate sounds into those slots. See, it doesn't have to be just drums. You've really got hundreds of kits to choose from here. Everything from starter kits to the latest pack. I can hear the individual sounds. I can go to the mixer. You can see I can control each and every one of the 16 sounds. If you'd like, you can route the output to separate tracks in your DAW rather than just the main stereo left and right. So it's a full-fledged drum machine. There's really no shortcomings. It's comparable to many drum machines on the market that cost $100 or $200. It's a Loopcloud Play, which is really a sample player / synth with some pretty advanced capabilities. You can take any sample, really, turn that into an instrument. In this case, a vocal chops instrument. And you can control things like the time stretching, the amount of reverb and chorus, the filters, and it comes with a bunch of examples. So in this particular one, I have all these presets. Better vocal chops is the high level, and these are all presets for that particular sound. This is the main page. There's an advanced page where you can control all the parameters for managing how that sample gets played back. It's got modulation like LFO and other features. You can see here it's got this thing called lo-fi. There's tilt. There's a filter. There's distortion, reverb, and delay. And then there's setting up modulation controls to work with your MIDI controller. The number of voices and the amount of polyphony that are played. It's pretty good. It's a pretty powerful instrument. So we've been looking at Loopcloud. What's really going on here is quite an interesting thing. Loopcloud is really a manifestation of Loopmasters. So Loopmasters was in the business of selling loop packs, and that website is still there. It's still very popular, certainly amongst DJs and hip-hop producers. Loopmasters was the parent company, and they figured out, hey, we could offer a subscription service, so let's start Loopcloud. That's kind of how that evolved. But one of the things that changed was that a company named Beatport bought both. They bought Loopmasters and also acquired Plugin Boutique in the process, along with Loopcloud. So all of these companies are linked now, and they're all owned by the parent company Beatport. Beatport is evolving as well into a group of solutions for people in the music business and DJs. They're offering everything from accounting services to marketing and a way to consolidate kind of everything that a hip-hop producer or DJ might need. One of the things I'm expecting is that Loopcloud has this plugin suite currently with things like the quasi-DAW and the drum machine and some of these other bits and pieces. But I could see this evolving into a complete solution for music production. And it would probably be all cloud-based. So there's some other products that I see out there in the marketplace that are innovative. And I think this is the future. The future is that all of these services will be offered as a subscription rather than downloading software to your client computer. I wouldn't be surprised if they acquire some AI-related technologies that help piece this all together.
Hey, this was a pretty long video, and I went into great detail about certain features. But I hope you find it valuable. If you were on the fence about whether to use Splice or Sounds.com or Loopcloud, I'm hoping this will convince you that Loopcloud is the best option out there. But more importantly, you need to make the right decision for yourself. I just want you to be fully aware of what you're getting with Loopcloud, which is more than just the subscription. If you found this video useful, click on the like button, consider subscribing to the channel. I'm going to keep turning out secrets, tips, advice, things that help you get value when you're producing music. Thanks for watching.